So, got it. Gatsby chapter 3. So we start out with Nick attending his first Gatsby party. And we go through this really brilliant description of the party with lights and people and gossip and whispering and alcohol and dreams. And it's supposed to really convey a sense of longing, of like, this is a place that I wanted to be. This is a place that if you're not there, you are missing out on something. However, let me read this quote. At high tide in the afternoon, I watched his guests diving from the tower of his raft or taking the sun on the hot sand of his beach, while his 2 motorboats slit the waters of the Sound, drawing aquaplanes over cataracts of foam. What is a cataract? You may know. Maybe your grandparents might have them and have surgery to get them removed. Where do they occur? Eyes. Okay, so basically they're like a film over the eyes that causes what, okay, even if you don't know what they are, what do you think would happen if you put like some sort of filmy stuff over your eyes? Well, you can actually still kind of see through them, but it's what? Blurry. Why do you think Fitzgerald chooses to use that word here when referring to the people attending Gatsby's party? What do you... Go ahead.
They don't know what's going on around them.
Okay, so they're not seeing clearly, right? Maybe they're not seeing clearly about some shady events. Maybe they're not seeing clearly about their own lives. Maybe they're like Nick and they feel lonely being surrounded by people, and that's kind of, I'm not going to say blinding them, but they're using those people as a distraction and not like clearly seeing what's going on in their lives. But regardless, Fitzgerald wants to show really the romantic nature of Gatsby's parties. So he does this throughout all of the description at the beginning. He gives us really specific details. He gives us colors and numbers. It almost becomes a little tedious at the beginning when he's talking about the floating cocktails and the chatter and laughter and the introductions and the meetings and all of that. Almost gets to the point of like, okay, come on, let's get to, right? So we get to the point of now where Nick is coming in, well, he gets invited before that. We talked about that previously. He gets invited by the chauffeur, and that's unusual because nobody gets invited. They just come and go. What does that mean? What does that tell us about Gatsby? If people are not getting invited, but they're just coming and going, what can we draw? What conclusions could we draw from that?
He doesn't care who comes.
That could be a part. He is not like one of those people who is super discerning about like you have to be on the guest list necessarily. That could be one of them. How do people know about the party? What do you think?
Other people who go talk about it.
Okay. So it's worthy. It's so grand that other people want to talk about it and share about it. Definitely. Okay, so we get to the party and then we start hearing rumors and gossip about Gatsby. So I think later on when we get to chapter 4, we're going to be able to compare some of the truths with the rumors. But for now, let's just look at the rumors. First of all, we have a rumor that he killed a man. And then it said a thrill passed over all of us. That kind of reminds me of today's culture, and I'm guilty of this too, of like wanting to listen to true crime podcasts or watch stuff about true crime. It kind of excites us, right? It kind of like, ooh, I want to hear more about that. That's an interesting little tidbit of human nature. I wonder why we feel that way. Then we hear another rumor that says he was a German spy. Okay? And then I heard that from a man who knew all about him that he grew up in Germany. And then a girl said, oh no, it couldn't be that because he was in the American Army. Okay? So nobody really knows. What does that tell us about Gatsby? That no one really knows the truth.
Mystery.
He's mysterious. What does that tell us about the number of close friends he may have? Not many. He doesn't let people into his inner circle. People don't truly know who he is. He must keep to himself. Okay? All right. We meet Mr. Owl Eyes, and he really is just another character here who is symbolizing wisdom, right? Owl's wisdom. But in a very ironic way, right? We've already touched on that. What does he blame on his drunken accident? That he can't drive in the mechanics of the car, which is not true. So sometimes, though, he also points out how the books in the library haven't been cut. So he's giving us wisdom. But then later on, the words that he says are not true. Can somebody be wise and wrong at the same time? Yes. Okay, so that's kind of what he's bringing out in here as well. And like I said, there are so many things in this book that we could spend literally a week or two on each chapter and never even get through them. So I'm just trying to shoot out some of the most important highlights in my mind. You may have gotten something else out of it as well. All right, so let's go to where he is about to... It's almost like the climax of the chapter, right? We're floating around. We're at Gatsby's party. Who do we want to see actually appear? Gatsby. We want to meet Gatsby. So we get to the part where this happens. And it says, I had taken 2 finger bowls of champagne, and the scene had changed before my eyes into something significant, elemental, and profound. All right, so this is signaling to us, okay, something big is about to happen. And that big thing is that he meets Gatsby, but he doesn't realize it's Gatsby at first, right? Which, what does that tell us about Gatsby?
Doesn't show his face much.
Okay, that's one. Yeah, maybe he's a little shy. Maybe he's not walking around his party like, hey, I'm the most important one, right? Okay, so I want you to start thinking about why someone who is not very close to a lot of people, and we get that because we know that all these rumors are swirling and no one really knows the truth. Okay, he's not close to a lot of people. He doesn't walk around acting like he is the most important person in the world. He doesn't even actually invite the people to come over. He just hosts parties. Why would he be having these parties? I just want you to start thinking about it. It's kind of a mystery right now, right? Does anybody have any ideas that they want to throw out there? Yeah.
He could be escaping reality or something.
Oh, that's great. Don't you think that's why a lot of people were probably there at the parties? Escaping reality? Yeah? Madison?
I thought that he was a murderer and he was like using the parties as an alibi.
Yes, that's up my alley. I love me some psychological thrillers. That's what I would want to happen to. Yeah, Katie?
Maybe he wants to keep up with the reputation of living where he lives.
That happens a lot to people who put on a facade or even have a lot of wealth sometimes, right? They put a lot of importance into their outside appearance. That could definitely be something. Okay, yeah, oh, you have something else.
He could be collecting intel. He's a German spy.
He could be a German spy. We'll see. All right, so we have some more dancing going on. Then we have that car wreck. It went into the ditch. How did it happen? I know nothing whatever about mechanics, but how did it happen? Did you run into the wall? Don't ask me, said Owl Eyes, washing his hands of the whole matter. Well, he was the one driving. Well, if you're a poor driver, you oughtn't to try driving at night. Well, I wasn't even trying. Anyway, it sounds almost like a conversation you would have with a 5-year-old, right? So he's definitely not being self-aware at this moment. And then we go into this little side arena here where Nick then talks about Jordan. And I've already mentioned that he thinks at first that maybe he could love Jordan. And I really think it's something of convenience, which we see that happen all the time in our real world, right? 2 people just happen to kind of be on the same social level. They happen to know the same people. They're dating. Maybe we should get married. I don't have anything better to do, right? But then Nick realizes that she has cheated. Now, I want you to keep that theme going in your mind when we read the rest of the book, okay? She is famous. She is pretty. She is average, intelligent. She's not that interesting. But we do know that she cheats. I wonder... no, I'm about to give something away. We'll stop there with that. Dishonesty, though... this sentence kills me. Dishonesty in a woman is a thing you never blame deeply. What does that mean? What does that tell you about what Nick thinks about women?
All women are liars.
All women are liars, and oh well. Oh well. And then he says, I was casually sorry, and then I forgot. My goodness. He's like, okay, I don't love her because she's dishonest, but you know what? Nah, most women are, and I kind of just forgot about it. It's not that big a deal. I think that either tells us a little bit about Nick or maybe about all of society's feelings towards women, but maybe not all women. Maybe women who are rich. Maybe women who are famous. Do you think that they get away with more than others? Do you think that we expect rich, famous people to lie sometimes? I mean, if you found out that Kim Kardashian had actually had surgery when she claimed that she hadn't, plastic surgery, would it surprise you? No. So maybe that's what he's saying here. Maybe he should have added something about, it's normal for rich women to lie. Dishonesty is normal. Because we are going to continue to see this theme about dishonesty amongst the rich, what the rich can get away with versus what people who don't have the means of the rich can get away with as well. So the last sentence, though, he goes through a couple of paragraphs, but let me tie it all up with this last sentence of what Nick says. I am one of the few honest people that I have ever known. So we have two options here. Okay, let me give this to you. Nick is either the most honest person in the world, and he is very self-aware, he knows he's honest. Or, what if he is a liar? Wouldn't a liar say that they're honest as well? And they would be lying, but then that's a liar's nature. So he could be a liar as well. What do you think about Nick as a narrator? Because he's one of those characters that doesn't get talked about quite as often in The Great Gatsby because we're not really invested in him. The people we want to know more about are probably Tom and Daisy and Gatsby. But we're seeing everything through Nick's eyes. So what do you think about him?
I don't think that he should be the narrator.
Oh, okay. Why?
Because we don't know anything about him, so we don't know how reliable he is
Okay.
as a source.
That's true. We don't know. He keeps saying he's honest, but again, that's like somebody who is not honest is like, no, really, I am honest. So maybe that's something. All right, so that is chapter 3. You will do chapter 4 over the weekend. Let me make sure that we're not missing something. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. I'll end that there.